Hi everybody. This is the final presentation I'm going to give before you prepare your initial elevator pitch script. What we're going to go over today is two of the other elements that we haven't talked about yet in class, which are milestones and your introduction. And we'll also go a little bit over your closing. So the milestone section, you have two choices. You can talk about what you've done so far and what you plan on doing. So what you've done so far is hopefully things like you've talked to people, you've surveyed people, you've done some market research, you've used Info USA to size your market, you've talked your idea over with your roommates, you've talked it over with your professor, etc. So stuff that you've done so far are good things to put in the milestones, as well as things that you're planning on doing. So I plan on developing a website by this day. So it would be your to-do list of things that you'd like to get done. So people like to see that you've thought this through and have confidence that by this particular future point in time, you hope to have this type of thing accomplished. Some key phrases that you might want to use in your script are, we hope to develop a minimum viable product, which is, if you're doing a website or an app, is the features that you just need to have to get the thing launched in the first version of it. Customer validation, which means you've actually got people who've agreed that if you built it, they would buy it. You saw, like with Music Vault, they did the wireframes, so you could actually see a mock-up of what your website would look like. You might actually launch a website. You might actually do some testing. Alpha is the first time you do test. Beta is the second time you do test. You might say you've got some key partners, advisors, or mentors. So you might say, for example, you could use me and say, Dr. Jasinski at Quinnipiac University has agreed to be an advisor to our company. You might do things like say we've got Carrot Creative or one of our other alumni companies on board to help us market the product. And again, you certainly want to say you've done some market research. The last element we're going to talk about is the who are you part of it, which is where you identify who you are, give your company a name, talk about the qualifications you have, and the role you're going to play in launching your company. So company name, it should be pretty straightforward. It should be like a tweet, 140 characters, a one sentence, what we do statement. There's some examples here on the screen. You don't want to get too involved. I don't think you want a company name that's obscure like Accenture. An elevator pitch with only 90 seconds, you can't afford to waste time by trying to explain the hidden meaning behind some very odd sounding names. So my best advice is try to make the name the same as your product or service, or at least very descriptive of what that product or service is. In terms of your role, you can say you're going to be the founder. So almost all of you are coming up you come up with your own idea. So you're the founder, or if you're working with somebody else outside of class, you can say I'm a co-founder of it. The other thing they're looking for too is some sense of what you plan on doing once you've launched the business. So you're a founder only until the time the business starts, and then what's the new role that you're going to play? Is your forte going to be in the management of the company? Are you going to be the technologist? Are you going to be in charge of sales, logistics, marketing, whatever it is? So in that tagline about who you are, I'm a founder and I plan on being the CEO, I plan on being the chief technologist, I plan on being, whatever. Again, that just gives me a lot more confidence that you see this business actually coming to life and not just, an exercise for a class. Now, qualifications is something that some of you are going to have more and some of you are going to have less. Most of you, again, as I've said before about Quinnipiac students, you're not virgins. You guys have worked in businesses before. So you want to stress that especially you want to stress it if it's relevant. So if you're doing something in the liquor industry and you've worked in a bar, that's a relevant thing to talk about. If you're going to do something in early childhood education and you've been a babysitter of young kids before, that's relevant. So try to think back to things that you've done. Now certainly in terms of the elevator pitch, and certainly if you're thinking of going to the national contest or being selected for the national finals, prior entrepreneurial experiences in terms of contest competitions or companies that you've started would be a really good thing. Other accomplishments, entrepreneurship and leadership are closely linked. So you can say, just as I was able to transform my field hockey team into a state champion, I can transform this company from an idea into a full-fledged organization. So don't be afraid to link some leadership things that you've accomplished in the past to entrepreneurship. Certainly talk about your own passion and motivation. And this probably is the singular variable that the actual presentation part of your elevator pitch comes across. If you come across as having passion, which doesn't always mean you have to be loud and John Madden-like, but you at least have to show that you care. The judge and judges have to come away with, you really want this business to succeed, because think about it, if you don't, why the hell should they want it to? You can certainly talk about a network you bring to the table. So you can say, between my family, friends, and contacts I have, we've got 27 years in early childhood education experience, or 20 years in shaved ice, whatever it is. So talk about the network if that's appropriate for you. Certainly, you're attending a top 100 business school. That's going to give you some level of qualification. And certainly, if you're an entrepreneurship major or a minor, you've taken or plan on taking additional courses, that's going to help as well. So now we're going to talk about how do you end this pitch? How do you get off stage? And I always think a great way of doing this is what I call reasons to believe. And this chart tells you that research has shown that when a new product or service is introduced, its success percentage goes way up. And the highest, if you use these one of these 5 things, and obviously the best is a guarantee. And so I'm going to go over each one of these in more detail right now. Kitchen logic is basically just using good old-fashioned common sense. So if you're driving in Maine and you see somebody selling lobsters by the side of the road, and they say fresh lobsters, X dollars per pound, you're probably going to think that's pretty fresh and not a bad thing. If you're in the middle of New Mexico and it's 120 degrees and you see some lobsters at the side of the road, you're probably going to keep on driving. So these are simple stories that just make sense. So if it's something that your region is known for, if it's something that makes sense, you've been a soccer player your whole life and now you're going to open up a soccer academy and you happen to be from Brazil, that's probably something that people are going to believe. So this one is basically saying I'm going to rely on good old-fashioned common sense to help me give people a reason to believe that my new company can succeed. Another great way to give people a reason to believe that your company can be viable is letting them experience it. So obviously in the slideshow you see example of people letting you taste some jams. So that's a physical product, and it's great if you can have a sample. Remember, we had Casey come in and talk about doing promotions where she would be passing out things. And that's why those types of things work really well, is when people get to actually sample what you've got. Well, web companies can do the same thing. You can have your website up and let people experience a free trial for 30 days before they have to sign up. They can download the app and get to play with a lot of the features before they have to actually pay anything. So that we call that the freemium model, where you get to try it for free and then have to pay if you want to unlock all the different features of it. Certainly, if you've got some, rating or external validation, that's not a bad thing. Again, our university's business school is accredited. That certainly helps, and that's one of the reasons many of you chose it. So, if as a new company, that's probably not something you're going to start with. But again, that might be something, depending on the business model you're pursuing, that you can say we aspire to get. So you hint right away that this is something that's going to be a long-term source of our competitive advantage, is we're going to be credentialed in some way, shape, or form. Certainly having the RTB on this slide, again, refers to reason to believe. So if you can get testimonials from patients or other people in your profession that say, you're the best. So the doctor's doctor, 3 out of 5 dentists recommend for their patients, etc. So a good thing to do here, especially since many of you are doing business models where the customer or the user is going to be college students, is to say a survey showed that 4 out of 5 college students, when they saw what our idea was, liked it. So don't be afraid to get testimonials from your peers. So by far and away, again, as you saw in the first slide on the reasons to believe, the single best thing that can help you make sure that your product or service is launched successfully is by giving people a guarantee. So I would certainly urge you, where it's appropriate in your business models, that you conclude by saying, we will guarantee our product 100% money back if our customers don't like it. That's how confident I am I can deliver the benefit to my customers that I say we can. Okay, so what I've done then is I've given you some new resources. So you've already had the link to the videos. That's up on Blackboard already, the elevator pitch folder in course materials. I've also added to that same folder in Blackboard a pitch structure sheet. And that pitch structure sheet basically walks you through what you need to do to write up your script, and then gives you another sample of what an elevator pitch would look like. And so what your assignment is to actually write out your script. Now you're not going to read those, so don't misinterpret me. But I thought it was easier for you guys to read, to review each other and help each other out if you saw what the script is going to look like. I've given you two documents, and again, these are in course materials in Blackboard. Click on Blackboard, click on course materials, click on elevator pitch, and in there is a document that has the pitch structure and the reason to believe worksheet. And let me show you those real quick. So if you click on the document called pitch structure, this is what you're going to get. So this is a sample. The first half of the document is a template that walks you through how to create your script, and the bottom half is a sample elevator pitch for a fishing rod product. So you can see, to do a 90-second pitch, you don't get a lot of text. You're talking about a couple of paragraphs depending on how fast you talk. So again, as I've said many times in class, this is the tip of the iceberg. The best pitches are the result of lots and lots of hard work, and you're surfacing the gems, and you spend a lot of time polishing them. The worst pitches are the people who create it, hours before you have to do it. So this document, again, is called Pitch Structure. It walks you through the elements you need to address, and then gives you a sample of what a pitch could look like. And at the very bottom here, you see the link, again, which is already in Blackboard to the prior year's pitches. The second document I posted in there that's new is this Reasons to Believe. You can launch the business worksheet. So again, not all these necessarily are going to apply, but if you complete the table with the idea of these are the benefits that I have that I think make the kitchen logic or common sense appeal, these are the things that have personal experience, et cetera, and then put it in the form of a reason to believe, and there are some prompts in the top half that can help you do it. So this worksheet is there to help you figure out how to end your pitch with a bang. So the very last thing I want to do with this short presentation is give you an overview of what the last few dates are going to look like for the class. So again, Thursday we don't have class. You're going to listen to this presentation hopefully and be working on your script. I want you to post your script to Blackboard. I've created a folder called Elevator Pitches in the course. Post your elevator pitches there by midnight on Friday. By Monday at midnight, please post constructive comments to at least 10 other students. Give them heads up about things they might want to do to improve their script, or holes that you've seen. So use the scoring sheet to make sure, A, your own pitch has everything in there that you need to have, and as you're reading through the other people's scripts, comment if they're missing something. On Tuesday in class, I'll give you some coaching tips on how to make your presentation. So that'll be all about the verbal delivery part of your pitch. Then on Thursday, the 26th, you'll do your practice pitch, and not in our classroom. It's going to be in the law school, room 201. And again, on Tuesday, I'll remind you. And finally, we finish this first big module of the class on Tuesday, October 1st, with your hopefully very, very successful engaging pitches in class. Best of luck to everybody. I look forward to reading your scripts.